What's up, baseball fans? Welcome back. We're going to continue doing the 30 on 30, and today we're going to be day 7 out of 30. I'm going to go over the Cincinnati Reds. All right, so I'm going to go over my offseason outlook, kind of identify their biggest needs, and what I think they should do and what I think they will do. My predictions, what I think they will do. So if this is your first time, welcome to the channel, but take a look in the description down below. You'll see the first 6 days. I'll put them all in there. I'm focusing on the NL and AL Central. Then I'm going to move over to the West and do all those teams, alternating back and forth, American and National. And then I'm going to go to the East after that and do every team alternating back and forth as well. So I will hit all 30 teams, okay? And I'll give my kind of outlook and predictions for each team. And this is kind of evolving too. One of the reasons I kind of decided to do this is not only because I want to kind of, make it appealing and focus on everybody's team, not ignore anybody's favorite team, but it's kind of evolving now that free agency's open, so things might change, things might evolve. So I've done my free agent predictions already for 2021. That's in the description down below. Take a look at that if you haven't seen it yet either. But you'll see how things may have changed over the course of beginning of free agency towards where we're going to be, and whenever I get to that team. So my predictions will be, kind of on par with that video, but a lot of other stuff happens too. And if things happen, if some team signs somebody and where I don't think they're going to sign and so on, I'm going to mention it. Like my first one I'm going to mention right now, the Robbie Ray and the Blue Jays have agreed to a 1-year deal for 2021. So they agreed to sign Robbie Ray, left-handed starting pitcher. I initially had him going to the Yankees as a pitcher to kind of boost their rotation since they're going to be 3 starters down. But he decided to re-up with the Blue Jays today. So that's the first kind of significant signing of the offseason. There's been some incremental pieces, and obviously there's arbitration, there's options, team options, player options, and qualifying offers and all that stuff. But the majority of folks declined their qualifying offer. I think the only ones left might be Marcus Stroman and someone else. I don't remember who the other person was, but those are the only folks that have have the qualifying offer left. Everybody else has declined them. And that's common sense. I mean, it was pretty obvious they were going to do that because they're in line for bigger contracts, and even if it's 2 years, it's more than they would get for a qualifying offer anyway. So with that said, I want to focus on the Cincinnati Reds today. All right. By the way, if you haven't subscribed and you do, please let me know in the comments down below so I could personally thank you. I appreciate your support. Make sure you hit the bell next to it. My regulars, you guys are the best. Okay. So I identified kind of shortstop as a big need for the Cincinnati Reds, catcher obviously, and a starting pitcher because I do not have Trevor Bauer coming back. Although I think they should re-sign him, obviously. It was great for them. He was a good fit in that rotation with a bunch of different guys. And Sonny Gray and Luis Castillo. It was a nice Wade Miley, and it was a nice solid rotation. And I think he'd be a good piece to go back there. But for some reason, I just don't have him going back. He obviously declined his qualifying offer as well. But he should. He's a bona fide ace right now. He's turned into one over the last year or two. And he's definitely the favorite for the Cy Young Award. And he'd be, a mainstay in that rotation, even though I don't have teams. The good thing about him is that he actually likes to work on 1-year contracts, no more than 2. So it makes him an ideal fit for a lot of teams who don't want to tie up years and years and years of long-term commitments to people and then wind up regretting it in year 4, 5, and 6 or whatever. So this is a perfect situation because if he's not happy or the team's not happy, the following year they move on. And end of story. So, he's definitely in line for a solid pay, whether it's a 1-year or 2-year anyway. But I do think they should re-sign him. So catcher, I actually think they should try to get Yadier Molina from the Cardinals. Now I know it's in division, and he's a mainstay. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer in the face of the franchise, but he is looking for a 2-year deal, and the Cardinals are looking to cut spending. So this may be a situation. Remember, nobody thought Pujols was going to leave, and he was the face of the franchise, and he left for a huge contract with the Angels. This is a little bit different because he's older. He's not 30 when Pujols signed his, or 32, or whenever it was. But that said, if they're looking to lower spending, don't be surprised if the Cardinals let him walk, which is why I think that the Cincinnati Reds would be a prime team to get him, especially with that starting rotation. I think they'll replace Trevor Bauer either way. So this guy would be a good, he's still an elite catcher, and he's great at calling games, and he'd be a perfect guy to handle that starting rotation. And again, taking him away from a division rival, as unpopular as it would be for the division rival, but crazier things have happened. And he's still one of the top catchers in baseball, even though he's like 38. Got to give it to him. And the other, shortstop. I personally think that they should bring in Andrelton Simmons. And if you look at my free agent predictions, I have kind of an interesting outlook at it. I have the Reds doing something interesting, so make sure you watch that video. Because I do think Simmons offers some versatility, but he's a little bit light on the bat. Light on the bat and heavy with the glove. So, and I can see him complementing with somebody who's heavier with the bat and lighter on the glove, and maybe giving some versatility either way from DH or rotating for a shortstop and so on and so forth, and giving the team a little bit more versatility. But I do think the Reds should sign him for a 1 or 2 year deal. Now moving over to what I think they'll actually do. I actually think they're going to wind up signing Didi Gregorius. Perfect fit there. Popular, well-respected player, good lefty hitter, good contact hitter. He's a good defensive player. He's gotten a lot better defensively over the last couple of years, and he's a perfect guy to plug into that lineup to balance out some of those hitters. Between Moose and Castellanos and some of those other guys, he'd be a perfect fit. And Votto, I think he'd be ideal in Cincinnati. And again, you'd be taking him away from the Phillies or a National League team. So, anytime you get an opportunity to do that, he's going to be highly sought after by a bunch of teams. So I would be aggressive with him early on. And he's not going to break the bank. He's not going to be one of these guys that expects $160 million or whatever. I don't think anybody's going to really give out a lot of long-term contracts this offseason anyway because of the financial state of baseball. But he'd be a perfect guy, and he's never been the one to kind of, again, ask for you to break the bank or set a whole new market for him, especially with the shortstops that are coming out next year. Javi Baez, Trevor Story, it's Lindor being a free agent if he's not traded and extended. Next year's shortstop market, he would not want to be in that market. So now's the time to lock him up. In terms of catcher, I think they'll bring in somebody like Alex Avila. I don't think he's going to come to Cincinnati. I don't think Yadi's going to come to Cincinnati. Alex Avila over from Detroit Tigers, and again another a little younger catcher, but who still has the ability to handle a pitching staff, call a solid game. It's not going to break the bank, so he suits the needs of the Cincinnati Reds, who if they do have a big expenditure, it would probably be a Trevor Bauer, or they may even make a trade for somebody or something like that, because they did spend a lot and they made some acquisitions last offseason in the last 2 years. So I see them continuing that trend because they obviously want to contend more than they did this year. And so I do see them doing some spending or some aggressive trades. But I see Alex Avila probably being the catcher. I don't see them getting JT Realmuto. Just don't. Would I be surprised if they did? No. But I see them getting more of somebody like Alex Avila. And starting pitcher, I don't see him getting Bauer. I see him getting somebody like James Paxton. I think he's had some issues staying healthy, but I think a move to the National League would be a good thing for him right now. When he's healthy, he's dominant, and he can Cohen and slide right into that rotation with Gray and Castillo and these other guys, and he'd be a good number 2 or 3 there, and complement that rotation. Again, is not going to break the bank. He didn't get a qualifying offer, so he's not going to cost a draft pick. And it's a prime opportunity to get him on maybe a 2 year deal. It's decent money. So I think somebody like him would be probably the predicted signing for Cincinnati Reds. So again, bringing in a Didi for shortstop, a Paxton for starting rotation, maybe an Alex Avila or somebody. A solid, or maybe even trade, a James McCann or something like that. Alex Avila is my more ideal prediction for the team, but crazier things have happened. You never know. I didn't expect the Reds to be as aggressive as they were last offseason and the year before, but they did, and they were. So I didn't expect the White Sox to do those things, but they did. So, but that's what makes the sport so exciting too. It's not only the same teams being aggressive and spending on a regular basis. It's nice to see some other teams kind of going out there and say, okay, we want to compete and we're going to do some stuff now. So that's my outlook and predictions for the Cincinnati Reds. Let me know what you think. Put your feedback in the comments down below. My next team is going to be the Detroit Tigers. We're almost done with the Central. I got what I have left. I think I have the Pirates and the Royals left after the Detroit Tigers, and that'll be the Central. And then I'm going to move over to the NL and the AL West. So if you enjoyed this, please hit that thumbs up, by the way, actually, and please hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and be on the lookout for a lot of good, the rest of the 30-30 and a lot more stuff coming after that. So be safe, everybody, and I'll talk to you next time.